Welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast, broadcasting from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Empire and on the fringes with the New Republic. Join your hosts Garrett K. Jones, Brian Karasik, and John Mark Tolley as they discuss the various facets of the saga's lore and characters, review the films, and discuss every tidbit of news coming out of Lucasfilm. Remember, this isn't just your Star Wars. This isn't just my Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. This is the way.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way. This is also the greatest Star Wars podcast in the world of all time. Don't look that up. Just take our word.
We know it to be true.
No fact checking.
We know it to be true.
Yes.
Know it to be true.
This is War of the Stars, and Garrett is eating a sandwich.
Nope.
Great content for.
You're eating what?
A slice of pizza.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's made with fresh Wookiee. Yeah, I went there.
What does fresh Wookiee taste like?
A lot
I heard
of
it's kind of
pepperoni
gamey.
for some reason.
I heard it's kind of gamey.
No, that's only if you get wild caught. This is farm raised.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
okay.
but you just never get the hair out. It's just you
Well, this is
You
why
can
you
run
burn it first and then
run it
you
through the
peel
chicken
back the
filter 4
layers.
times.
Well, how are you gentlemen today?
I am doing very well. I'm pleased with the way the week is going.
Me too. I just finished yet another Star Wars book and started another one.
Which one?
I just finished Lost Stars.
How did you enjoy that, Mark? That's one of my favorites.
I loved that book.
Yeah.
That book was so amazing.
What did you like about it most?
The character, I like the way that it showed the banality of evil and how quickly people can come up with excuses. The whole Death Star scene was probably one of my favorite scenes in that book, with them on the Death Star watching Alderaan get blown up, and the reaction of the people there and how quickly they came up with excuses and for rationales for blowing up Alderaan. And I love the love story too.
I really enjoyed that.
I like how it seemed so natural. Like, it didn't seem like the love story was shoehorned in. And when they do fall in love, you're just like, oh yeah, of course. Why not? That makes sense.
At first, it was a little Wuthering Heights in space.
And the whole story, I kept asking myself, I just want these two to get together. I just want them to be, I don't care if they're both in the Empire, if they're both in the Rebellion. I just want them to be together. That was like
kids just get along.
Yeah.
I always pitch that as one of my favorite books because it is one of the first times that we see an Imperial officer who is a good person.
Yes, and her rationale for staying with the Empire.
Right.
It makes perfect sense.
We do see her, spoiler for a book that came out 15 odd years ago, when the scene you're talking about on the Death Star, when she first sees Palpatine face to face, in person. That's interesting to me because it says that since the founding of the Empire, he's basically no one has seen him live. All of his public appearances have been via a holoprojector, and they're all he's got the Instagram filter on all of them, so like he still looks human. And to see him face to face, like it really throws her. And I liked the Claudia Gray's description of her realizing like the palpable evil coming off of him. It's great.
Yeah. And currently I'm reading the first of the Darth Bane novels.
That is such a great series. I mean, obviously it's a seminal.
Mark, you've got a week to finish
history.
that book.
I will. I know. We're talking. Yeah. I'm really liking it so far. One of the advantages of my job with driving a bus that has the capability of plugging in my phone and listening to novels is I can listen to and force everyone else on my bus to listen to them too.
I recommend your next book be Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade. which is I would call it a spiritual successor to Lost Stars, except we're dealing with a young inquisitor
Yes. Yeah.
who is until just recently a Padawan. Do you have Audible? I think I can lend it to you.
I have a couple of library apps that I do. I have one called Hoopla.
Libby.
I have Hoopla. I don't have Libby. I have Hoopla, and then I can't remember what the other one is. It's like a library cloud or something like that. They're both really good as far as getting.
I do like this setup here. I'm able to zoom in. You can see my autograph picture with me and the Emperor there. It's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well,
so
at home, I did want to say just real quick, those of you watching the video, I always like to update my partners here on new additions to the collection. And those of you watching at home, we have a new member of the tribe here. This is my Galactic Emperor Penguin.
yes.
Very pleased about that. I'm not a gifted customizer, but I think the Penguin goes really well.
I'm gonna have to send you
with my friend the llama. So we've got Palpatine, and I got to come up with a punny name for the penguin. I just think Galactic Emperor Penguin is a good one.
Yeah.
Palpenguin.
Palpenguin. Palpenguin. That's I got it. Thanks. Good one, Garrett.
Yeah.
I knew I could trust you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to do I wanted to give somebody something to look at other than Garrett eating pizza right in front of the camera.
It's not my fault. It's my dinner time.
I got this
like a certain Chewbacca, I sometimes think with my stomach.
Seriously, though, I did get this new camera. They recently added a feature that lets you turn it off if you want. It's all right. I'm just mad at you because I haven't eaten yet. No, I want pizza. All right. What are we covering today, guys?
We are we're talking about the Sith, not the religious order of Dark Force users. We're talking about the original Sith, the species. And today's title is taken from the ever classic Faith Hill song, "This Sith, This Sith." I believe that's how it went.
Shows
I think that's true. I think that's true. Yeah.
I thought Galactic Emperor Penguin was a good dad joke. This is much better.
The Faith Hill is strong with this one.
Is that a 90s reference?
I think it's a 90s reference and a 90s country music reference too.
It is. Because that song was everywhere in 1998.
Yes.
I would have been dubious you were listening to music in 1998 until you made that reference.
I was born in 82, man. I was born a year before Return of the Jedi came out. In fact, seeing that in the theater was my first memory.
That's right. We've talked about that because one of my first memories is seeing A New Hope.
So we are talking about the Sith, and Brian, because you are our resident Dark Force user,
thank you.
Resident Sith Lord, Darth Corrosis. We kind of are relying on you to fill in some gaps for us because, I mean, aside from the fact that I know that they're from Korriban and they're red skin, they have the little chin tendrils, kind of like Jason Momoa on a bad acid trip. I don't know much about them. Well,
they did resettle on Ziost, which most people are familiar with through Emperor Vitiate's destruction of every living being on it. Terrible for tourism. Incidentally, I always love that there's an internet thing that goes around periodically about usually when a new vampire movie comes out of all the drawbacks to being immortal. And I've made a different one of that for Emperor Vitiate because the deal with Vitiate's ritual, he performed a dark side ritual which sort of EMP'd the entire planet, killed every living organism, mind you, every living organism on the planet. And then the initiate of this ritual gets that life. So it's not exactly a one-to-one exchange, but Emperor Vitiate killed everything on the planet, and now his life is expended by that far. So he gets the lifespan of everything that he killed. And that you come up with some drawbacks. You live long enough, and your favorite food is no longer available because a key ingredient is extinct, or You can't, one of your favorite jokes, you can't make it anymore because the culture on which the reference is based has been wiped out by war. Or it's difficult to pick up chicks because your voice is made of 10,000 voices weeping in unison, and it's really hard to communicate. How do you get game like that? Anyway, I must admit that I too was a little bit rusty on the Sith. I always found this to be their sort of. I'm hesitant to get behind any philosophy in fiction or in real life where the entire philosophy is based on taking someone else's philosophy and saying, nuh-uh. And that did appear to be in the EU establishment of the Sith. They were just like, well, what if Jedi but bad guys? And that, I think they did go more deeply into it. But key reading, I definitely recommend the book Revan for this. Not for Darth Revan's participation. I found him to be the least interesting part of his own eponymous book, but for Lord Scourge, a much more interesting character. Who is not. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but I did not like that book at all. I'm not a Revan fan.
See, I enjoyed it, but I agree. I enjoyed the Scourge parts of the book a lot more than I did the Revan part. But yeah,
by the time I was halfway through that book, I was skipping the Revan sections. I'm totally not interested in. Like, I also am not going to read a biography of Mario. I just don't need it. Revan is not enough of a fleshed out character. I think Revan relies way too much on a player's emotional attachment to him for his popularity. I could do a whole episode on that alone. Be that as it may, read the Revan book because the scenes that take place on the Sith homeworld within the Sith culture are very interesting. So,
yes.
Also, as we see on the screen here, the Dark Lords of the Sith story arc written by, or it's now an anthology novel collected written by John Jackson Miller. He refers to that as his Star Wars Lord of the Rings. It is an amazing Sith culture, dark side, space opera, but the technology is more limited because they've crashed. So it's more of a D&D style. But yeah, I mean, the broad strokes are the Sith are a red-skinned humanoid species who are almost universally force sensitive and again, almost universally connected to the dark side. They use lightsabers. They are, again, as I said, what if Jedi, but bad guys. But I believe that it was their teaching that affected, there were two Jedi who fled the Jedi Order over, and this is all just top of my head, but there were two Jedi who left the Jedi Order and encountered the Sith, and that was the foundation of the Sith Order. See if we can find that in there.
I'm pulling it up because what I had initially was the canon. I clicked on Legends. And so they did have a few different races within the Sith. They had the Kisai, which are priests, the Masazi, which are the warriors, and we see their temples on Yavin 4.
Yeah.
We have the Zaguric engineers and the Grothu slaves. So they did. I wouldn't say these are races so much as they are a caste system.
Yeah.
Kind of, if I may borrow a trope, the Drow. Not as strongly matriarchal, but it's always interesting, and we kind of only see this in fiction until just recently. See civilizations that are based on an evil culture. That's always been something that, and now of course Dungeons and Dragons has changed that so that we, not all Drow are evil, whatever. But I just thought that was interesting, and I think that the Drow and the Sith species portray that in an interesting fashion because I mean a key feature of the dark side is selfishness and exaltation of the self at the expense of anyone that might stand in the way. You don't necessarily need to destroy people to make yourself better, but if that's what it takes, then so be it. And that's not how a civilization grows.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I mean, how can you have an entire civilization where everyone is evil and everyone's out for themselves? And
it helps if you're a fiction writer.
Well, here's the thing: you have to understand that when you're looking at it as from a cultural or like a not necessarily a philosophical side, but a sociological side of things, or even anthropologically, from an outside perspective, yeah, you're going to see what they do as being evil, especially if the rest of the galaxy has some kind of pre-existing or predetermined moral barometer for what is considered good or lawful or bad and evil. And so when you have a race that is incredibly violent, like their entire species is violent, we tend to associate that with evil. I mean, think about how the conquistadors and the Spaniards felt about the Aztec and the Maya when they first showed up in Central America. They viewed them as savages, when in truth they had probably a more high-tech understanding of astronomy and other sciences and mathematics that the Spaniards and other Europeans didn't have at the time.
Yeah, but that human sacrifice and playing sports with the hearts, like that's a hard sell.
It is a hard sell, but
look, astronomy, dude, you're chopping kids up. Yeah, but stars. Oh, all right, aqueducts. Okay,
but I mean, but think about some of the things that were going on, 5,000 years ago in, say, the ancient Near East, where you've got
aliens landing and teaching us how to make beer.
And the Canaanites doing far, far worse. They weren't playing games, and it wasn't just one sacrifice. They were like sacrificing thousands of children.
This entire city.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think I was looking at more from, you have a society that, where, it's, I don't know how to word it. Like you said, they're all kind of self-centered and not caring about each other. That's what I was kind of thinking more, how does a society like that where everyone's out just for themselves and there's no one looking out for the common good?
Well,
it also depends on
we're going to be able to find that out in the next 3 years, I think. We'll see in real time.
The other factor to that is you again have to look at what is determined as the common good, because if for example, I mean, if you guys have, I'm jumping franchises here, but the second film in Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy, Hot Fuzz,
yay,
has an entire village of people doing everything for the greater good, and that includes killing people that live there, torching people's houses, chasing off police officers because the police officers are figuring out what's going on. Anybody who is other from that community is considered against the greater good. And so, when you have
I gotta say, Garrett, say what you will, that was the worst rendition of Romeo and Juliet, and I think they needed to go.
Second worst. I still blame Baz Luhrmann for his original rendition.
I like the movie version of that, but the fact that I think it's hilarious that they did a stage play rendition of that movie, including singing "Love Fool" at the end. Anyway, sorry, yes, that's one of my favorites.
Hold on a second. I'm having flashbacks from freshman year of high school.
Morning Angle.
Okay.
Now, Garrett, you probably know this, but the big guy, Yarp,
yeah.
You recognize him as the Hound from Game of Thrones, right?
Who is also going to be the replacement for Ray Stevenson in Ahsoka.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
I really hope at some point we hear him say Yarp.
He's got to.
He's got to. At least in a deleted scene.
Yeah. Like they do something like they did on Breaking Bad, where we see Bryan Cranston wake up in the middle of the night from a bad dream, and he's Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and he's been dreaming that he was a meth cook.
Yep.
I do think it's interesting. Speaking of a society made of evil people, so I often involve myself in conversations of how the rule of two should work, and this is a bit of a deviation from the Sith, but it is. I think it touches on it.
This is going to dovetail into next week's conversation, though.
A true devotee of the dark side and I'm thinking Bane era Sith, but I think this also applies to the Sith species, is going to be not selfish to the level of selflessness, because the intent of a dark side devotee is to further the ends of the dark side. Now, for most Sith, that is their interest. They interpret that as like, what I want is the best interest of the dark side. But that isn't always the case. And I would call your attention to the scene in Darth Plagueis at the beginning, almost the prologue in the Darth Plagueis novel, wherein Darth Plagueis uses an impending cave-in as a distraction and telekinesis to drop the ceiling of a cavern on his master Darth Tenebris after almost 100 years of apprenticeship. Darth Tenebris, upon learning that it is Plagueis that brought about his death, there's kind of a "I knew you had it in you, kid" moment. Like, Tenebris is proud of him. You've killed me. You've ended my life. I will not be the Sith that ends the Jedi Order, but my apprentice might be, and that's good enough. And even to the point that Tenebris starts to warn him of an alternate apprentice, Darth Venemus, who's going to be coming for him. And I think that sort of thing is a good example, because, as I say, if you are a true devotee of the dark side, your goal is to benefit the dark side. Yes, you are exalting yourself, glorifying yourself, bettering yourself, often at the expense of others, but ultimately your goal is the betterment of the dark side. Ultimately, your goal is to die at the hands of your apprentice so that the order may proceed, or kill your apprentice and find a new one. But a true, honest devotee of the dark side has an understanding and appreciation of the fact that they might not be what they think they are, and they have to be okay with dying in the service of that mistake for the betterment of the dark side. And that is a pretty altruistic, albeit evil. I'm pretty good at twisting things around like that. I feel like I've just got myself another 2 points towards hell. I got a few points on the license already, guys. I'll take whatever I'm qualified for.
One thing, and this is a trope throughout science fiction, and what I'm kind of been seeing here, and I think the Sith kind of fall into it, is the monoculture, where everyone in the cult, in Star Trek, every Klingon is the same. Every Romulan is the same. Every Wookiee is the same. And
they've started playing with that a little bit. We meet Black Krrsantan, the one evil Wookiee.
Yeah, the one. The species. Yeah, there's you always gotta have one or two that are different, so that you can see, like, oh, he is the odd one.
I read that Starfleet has just introduced a gay Klingon that seems to have some people up in arms about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's not. It's not just that. It's the fact that he's
also a black guy, right? Like, I feel like they're just trolling now.
Weren't they always?
I mean, it depends. Christopher Lloyd.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's, I don't want to deviate. But yeah, no, you do have that trope, but I mean, like,
but usually it's because that whatever culture, whatever race, alien race that is, especially a show like Star Trek, and I think probably maybe even to Star Wars, just to a lesser extent.
Oh, the Daleks, they're all robots.
Well, they're always a stand-in for something or someone else. So, like in the original series, in the original Star Trek, the original series, the Klingons were a stand-in for the Russians.
Yeah, the colors, the red and the yellow, it was very communist.
Yeah. So
I would say even the Klingon logo is sort of, now that you mention it, is sort of reminiscent of the hammer and sickle.
Yeah. Well, and then there's something very socialized Germany-esque about the Romulans and later on the Cardassians.
Yeah.
Because like the whole thing between Cardassia and Vader was an allegory for what happened during the 1930s and 40s between Germany and a certain people group.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the achievements of General M. Cardassian. Did I pronounce the apostrophe well enough?
Anyway,
you've paid me back for the bad puns. You've paid me back. Consider us even.
I can't take credit for that. I'm not the first to make that joke, but
no, you are not. But still,
every time it comes up in Lower Decks, I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
How about the Ferengi? I love the topic of a monoculture, and it's interesting because it's really not a feasible way for a plausible civilization to be.
Oh, come on, the Ferengi are the Greek used car salesman.
Careful. Okay, all right. I think it's funny, like they introduce races and stuff, and like you can really see where they're going with it. Yeah. But like I mentioned a few times that the Trade Federation in the original trilogy is like clearly Japanese,
Chinese.
And I had a few people who were I don't know. I was stationed in Japan at the time, so like I was maybe looking for it, but if you mention like that seems a little bit racist, that people are like, well, why? Like you're the racist one if you think that these they must be Japanese because of all these negative things. Like, well, no, I mean they're doing a voice. Like it's not subtle.
Yeah.
But I do think that's an expansion rather of they do the same thing geographically with the mono planets, the ice planet, the desert planet, the casino planet.
Everything is it's a macro environment.
And it's a storytelling shortcut, but when you get,
it makes it easier for us.
When you get a couple million people studying it for 40 years or so, the seams start to show if you look too closely.
Well, I mean,
but that's why we love it, right? I love the seams. And
to be fair, the most balanced planets in the galaxy, as far as like ecosystems, are like Takodana and Naboo, and even Coruscant. Not Coruscant, Kashyyyk. I mean, Kashyyyk is one gigantic rainforest, sure, but it doesn't make any sense. But it has more.
Can you imagine the smell of Kashyyyk? All those Wookiees constantly getting rained on,
dude.
just a species of wet Wookiees.
Yeah, no. Why, Brian? I said we were even.
I'm sorry. Every time I see Chewbacca, I'm just like, he needs a brushing, and I can smell him through the screen.
Especially when he's hanging out in that dank cell in Jabba's palace.
Oh, I have a long-haired dachshund. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to trim some stuff.
So we're saying that Han Solo has no oral factories whatsoever. Like
he's completely nose blind.
I'm saying that Han Solo has some pretty sharp scissors in his back. At some point, there's been again, Chewie. Yeah, fine. Come here, bend over. What? There's no space bidets.
Strike two.
I think we're way past 2, if I'm honest.
After that comment, it's definitely a deuce.
Yeah. So, okay, this is good. All right, so we'll put a parental advisory on this episode, I think.
It's a good day when Mark is cracking up and he can't say anything.
The visual.
I think I'm safe in assuming that a lot of our listeners are familiar with the Drow culture as explained in the Forgotten Realms campaign, and that I think that's a good model for the Sith culture, because we're dealing with a species that is predominantly concerned with the furtherance of the will of an unknowable, ineffable evil, or let's call it entropic force, because as you say, evil is an objective term. But I think as the stories have been written, we can kind of say the dark side isn't evil, but it has been portrayed as such. Now, mind you, these are some somewhat unreliable narrators. Mace Windu and Yoda are not going to be giving an open-minded take on the dark side. But it's definitely like, if you interact with it, it's like playing with a ball of tar.
Yeah. Well,
there's gonna be some black on you when you're done.
That I was thinking about this question earlier today. When it comes to the dark side of the Force, do the actions of a dark side user affect? Is it the actions of the dark side user of using these quote unquote dark side thoughts that affect the Force, or is it the Force affecting the dark side user? Is it? I mean, what's the? I mean, how do you think that works? Is it the Force itself is dark, or is it because these Force people with Force ability are using, using their negative emotions? Is that what makes the Force dark side, or is it the other way around?
I think that we call it the dark side because it's an easy label to hang on those aspects of our nature and the nature of the universe which are uncomfortable. I don't think anybody would claim that violence is not a part of the natural order. I don't think that anybody would claim that greed and anger are unnatural. What you do with greed and anger can be handled unnaturally, but I think that we call it dark because that's just we have to use a human point of view.
However, it has been long established in the canon that there are focal points of the Force that lean towards the dark side, that lean towards evil. Fallujah is one of those. The big fungal planet, that's one of those locations. Dagobah especially is another one, and that is the reason why Yoda chose Dagobah as his place of hiding, because it shrouded his existence. The Emperor and Vader could not sense him for all the energy that was around him. He could actively use the Force and do what he does and meditate and connect with whoever he needed to connect with without having to fear someone finding him.
I forget where I read this, but it's really stuck with me. Someone tried to see Yoda through the Force. Like they just viewed Yoda through the Force, and they couldn't see his aura or whatever it is, like the field around him. They couldn't see it. And they said that the way it was described was the narrator said that the viewer couldn't see Yoda's aura for the same reason that someone in Theed can't see Naboo. Because it's
you can't see the Force from the trees.
Well, yeah, they're inside it. You can't stand back far enough from Yoda to see Yoda's presence in the Force. So I think that's an interesting way to, if I may simplify that. It's if you're standing in the capital of Naboo, you can't see the whole planet because you're standing on the planet. Yeah, and so I like that kind of scale of that. But to my point, I think that this Sith culture is portrayed as this sort of evil society, but I think it's really more of a permissive society wherein it draws on Klingons, it draws on Drow, but while the dark side is steering them and they have goals, they draw power from it. They do progress. And to your point, John, Mark, I think that the Force can affect users in and out of their existing time stream. Yeah. So it's not, if the Force can be said to have a will, have an agenda, then the Force can cause things to happen in the future that will retroactively cause things to happen, that were caused by things that happen now. So like, I'm gonna skip forward and make you do something now, and then back it up and ensure that it happens. Yeah. And I've created your own destiny, similar to Anakin turning to the dark side to protect Padme from the visions of her death that the dark side was giving him. Yeah.
Well, I think that would be interesting.
Hold on, was the dark side giving it to him, or was Palpatine infusing those thoughts into him? Was he projecting those thoughts? Because I always anticipated it was being Palpatine.
At that point in Palpatine's career, there is enough overlap that Palpatine is enmeshed enough in the dark side that the two are not dissimilar enough to distinguish. When Palpatine ascends to the role of Sith Master, it is described as apotheosis. Constellations change.
I think that would be interesting, and that's something we can maybe even do a whole topic on another time. Maybe even do a whole series on different philosophical ideas within Star Wars. And I think with that, me talking about the whole idea of free will and determination would be a really interesting concept to go into, especially when we're talking about the Force and how the Force works, and were certain decisions already predetermined, and as far as like Anakin's fall or whatever. Anyway, one thing I wanted to get to, you mentioned the character of Scourge, and what I found so fascinating about him is when you read further on and you get further down into his story, he's a character who uses the dark side in service to the light. Like, he helps the Jedi, he helps these people. He's still a dark side user. He still uses the dark side, but he uses it in service to good. So is that like, how does that work? I mean,
it's a reverse of the temptation we always read of the Jedi trying to, like, well, if I just use, if I give into my anger to fight Vader, then at least evil is killed. But oh no, you did it using the dark side, so evil triumphs. And I find that such a tiresome trope. Like, oh, you killed me and I still win. Shut up. You'll still be dead though.
Well, see, and that's the thing is that this comes down to the idea of the anti-hero. They're not pure good. They use the bad guys, bag of tricks to make their do the same thing, but just for a better cause. And that's why characters like Wolverine, or my favorite Star Wars character, Starkiller, are so awesome, because like Starkiller starts off as a villain. He is hunting Jedi, and midway through the Force Unleashed, he switches teams and helps build the rebellion.
Yeah.
And he is using those same skills that Vader taught him, all those same abilities, and he takes it back towards the Empire. And it's incredibly cathartic to have that kind of level of power, and to be able to electrocute the crap out of both Palpatine and Vader.
Yeah.
Did I say my experience with Force Unleashed too, Garrett?
I didn't. I don't think you have. No.
We have a Wii. And,
yeah.
My wife very generously bought me a licensed peripheral for the Wii, Force Unleashed 2, a Wii attachment such that you would snap it onto your controller, and now your controller is a lightsaber.
Right.
Very cool. Lights up. Looks great. She got me the red one. Perfect.
That was a woman who loves you.
The correct operation of this peripheral blocks the sensor on the Wiimote, which means you cannot use Force abilities while you're using it.
Oh, crap.
It is in my considerable career of having played video games since before there was a video component to them. As in, I have been eaten by a grue in the dark many times. I have said plug to travel to the bridge. I have found the alabaster egg. And both of you are too young to know what any of those things mean. But my point is, I've never encountered a licensed video game peripheral that using it in accordance with its manual disables the game. It's my favorite Star Wars peripheral. Like, better than the Jar Jar tongue candy, better than the oozing Jabba. Like, there's been some pretty hard misses in the Star Wars merchandise, but this $40 video game peripheral that renders the game unplayable is got to be my favorite, because there are a number of, I don't know if you played the Wii version, but there are a number of points in Force Unleashed 2 where you must use the Force to do something.
Yeah.
And at that point, you must be able to, nope, can't do it. Take the peripheral off, pause the game, remove the thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not bitter about a video game I played 15 years ago.
Not at all. No.
I don't know if you saw, I saw this the other day. It was kind of funny. It was a little cartoon Lego thing somebody made with Luke and Vader talking, and Luke telling about how evil Vader is, and Vader being like, how am I evil? He's like, all the evil things you're doing. He's like, well, what if I done this evil? He's like, you destroyed Alderaan. Oh, you mean that planet that was harboring terrorists? Yeah. He's like, well, what about all the rebels that you killed? You mean terrorists? Well, you put Han Solo in carbonite. Well, look at the rap sheet that Han Solo has. I did the galaxy a favor on that thing. Like, you chopped off my head and you didn't kill me.
Point of order, it was Tarkin that blew up Alderaan. Gets a bad rap for that. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but Vader, like he gets credit for stuff he didn't do. Every time I swear, every time someone says Darth Vader destroyed Alderaan, Tarkin is like, hello, what am I doing?
But it was Krennic that blew up Jeddah, and it was Tarkin who blew up Scarif.
Yeah,
I think it's very interesting that it seems to me that Tarkin shot Krennic, not just Scarif. I feel like the beam was aimed at Krennic on Scarif. I mean, watch Rogue One again.
Birds with one stone?
Yeah,
of course
Krennic is looking up. I feel like Tarkin is just like, just shoot him. Just pinpoint that. That's a good target.
Yeah. Oh man,
you got to read the Tarkin book, by the way. That's such a good book.
I get to see the calm conversations. Hey, Orson, this is Grand Moff Tarkin. You have your locator beacon on you, right? Yes, I do, Tarkin. Why? No reason. Beep 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 beep.
Could you face north by northwest, please? Hold it up in the air. Could you paint two concentric red circles on your forehead?
I think we've kind of got off the Sith topic.
Perhaps, yeah. Sorry.
I think we kind of
to
have.
To be fair, the entry page on Wikipedia for at least what's considered canon is like, it's like 2 paragraphs.
But I watched a really interesting video that broke down how complicated and just overly complicated the ranking system of the Imperial military and the civilian corps was.
Yes, it's very annoying to a veteran.
He basically starts with talking about Mas Amedda and how Mas technically outranks every admiral, every Moff, every general in the Imperial military. The only
That's
person
why his name means more.
The only person who is technically has more power than Mas Amedda is Palpatine. Except when Mas Amedda doesn't have any power at all. Which is
the entire.
How does Vader rank in on that?
Because Vader technically has no rank. If you look at the org chart, Vader has no rank.
There's no Darth rank in the Imperial.
Which is why
does he receive so much respect from some of the lower ranking generals and admirals?
Because they see what he can do.
Because while he has no rank, he also has no accountability. So if they mouth off to him, he can kill them without being on the same starship as them.
Which is why in New Hope, the admiral, the captain, who mouths off to him because he probably has not run into Vader before, but he looks at the org chart and sees like, wait a minute, this guy has no rank whatsoever.
Where the hell is he in my chain of command?
Yeah, and then, the same thing with the Moff. Technically, the Moff is not a military rank. The closest historical
governor
counterpart, for historical will be either a British viceroy or a Roman imperial general or imperial governor. It is a political post with military power.
We do know that General Tanaka becomes a Moff in the Empire, right?
Yeah.
I always like pointing that out. Or Panaka, sorry, not Tanaka.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be the closest real world would be like the old British viceroy, or during Roman times, the Roman imperial governor.
Well, as stated in the unbelievably thorough and enjoyable book Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, at the upper echelons of imperial rule, power was entirely determined by how much Palpatine liked you, or how much other people thought he liked you, more to the point. So It was entirely a series of a system of gamesmanship of what can I get away with. We see that presented in a number of ways in the new canon Thrawn novels, where Thrawn, as I put it, consistently dunks on Vader, because Thrawn at that point in the timeline, Thrawn is enjoying a rather favored position with Palpatine, and Vader is not. And so Thrawn can afford to do things like disobey Vader in front of his own troops on his own ship. Yeah. Thrawn can do things like break into Vader's shuttle and inspect it, even though Vader said it doesn't need to be inspected. Like, there's this constant, who does the Emperor like more? And if the Emperor likes me more, will he still like me more if I kill Thrawn? But if he likes me more and I don't like what Thrawn is doing, if I go tell on Thrawn, will I then, like, there's just this constant, what does the Emperor want me to do? What will make me look cool to the Emperor? And so, all those ranks are utterly meaningless depending on who you like. Favorite. I mean, you find Sate Pestage in the Imperial rankings. He's nowhere to be found, but he is Palpatine's second right hand. Basically, he kills a lot of people for Palpatine.
One of my favorite Masen scenes in the books with Masamida is in the Aftermath trilogy, where he's trying to surrender, and he goes to the New Republic capital, and they won't even go down to see him. They just stand up on the balcony as he's offering to surrender the entire Galactic Empire, and they just say, no, we don't accept it. Go home.
Yeah, we're going to continue.
He's just like, what? No. He's like, yeah, but you have no power. You have no authority. Go on.
I'm really enjoying the Andor series. That's a lot of fun. I'm watching my way through that gradually. I'm way behind on the TV shows, so it's circle back to Lost.
Andor is good. Wow.
I do want to say, just to touch before I need to drop here, but interest in the Sith as a species, you should absolutely read Lost Tribes of the Sith by John Jackson Miller. It was initially released as a series of one-shots in a magazine, but now it's collected in a paperback. Go to Barnes & Noble, pick it up. You will enjoy it. Also read, as we said, the Revan novel. Whether or not you like Revan, I'm cards on the table. Personally, despise the character of Revan. I find him not only unengaging. I find that he draws focus from more engaging characters. It's a whole thing. I still love that book because of the Scourge parts. I know I said it wasn't an enjoyable book. I still loved it. I like watching bad movies. It's fine. So Lost Tribes of the Sith, Revan. And if you've got a used bookstore or access to a library, pick up the D20 Dark Side source book, because that is, even if you're not playing the game, that is a great source book for. Oh, I can't reach it. Anyway, it's for the D20 tabletop role-playing game system, and it deals a lot with the Sith culture, starting with the Sith species and then coming up through the Galactic Empire. So really enjoyable, great source book, good source of data.
I still maintain what we need to do is we need to do a Star Wars role-playing game for Feast of Fandoms.
Yes.
We were trying to build something like that, and it fell through, and nobody, like, aside from Mark and a couple of other guys, like, nobody else turned in their character sheet to me. And
I would like to do that. It's that kind of, it's like having a band, when 5 adults can get together for a couple hours at the same time every week or month, it's tricky.
Well, the biggest issue wasn't about the scheduling. The biggest issue was just that nobody would get me their character sheets. Like, nobody followed through on anything.
Oh, well, there you go. If they can't schedule that, I knew I couldn't. Well, gentlemen, I do need to bow out. Unfortunately, I'm 10 minutes past my hard out. So
let's have you tell people where they can find you.
Folks, come see me at the Sith Library and Archives on Facebook. I post as Darth Carosis out there. We've had some really good, most recent ones. Actually, I did a reel from a trampoline park last weekend. That was a lot of fun. Great. I am the dad at the trampoline park who is traditionally referred to by the staff as, "Excuse me, sir." Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Anyway, come see me at the Sith Library and Archives. We got some great quality content out there. We try to share a lovingly curated collection of dark side, Imperial, and generally bad guy stuff out there where bad people doing good things. Come out and see us.
As for me, you guys can find me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my show The Right Way on YouTube, where we talk book recs, author interviews, and creative writing tips. I also talk about my writing as an author. I will be doing a live stream this Saturday on YouTube, where I'll be giving away this box set of my fantasy novels. They're signed. I will be picking a winner live on YouTube. So come and check me out. Just search for GKJ Publishing. And then I do another show for Snackame called Snackame for Feast of Fandoms. And I also occasionally appear on the Geek Gauntlet on Saturday night. So come and check what I've got going on. And it'll be great to connect with you guys.
All right. As for us right here at War of the Stars, if you want to get a hold of us, you can do so through our email. That is warofthestars1@gmail.com. We're also on Blue Sky, Instagram, X, YouTube, all social media. Just search for @WarOfTheStars77. You can check us out there. If you want to support the show, Ko-fi.com. That is ko-fi.com/War of the Stars. Or go to Spreadshirt.com and search War of the Stars and find cool merch there. Very cool merch. As Garrett mentioned, we are a proud member of Feast of Fandoms. Check out all the shows of Feast of Fandoms, which there are a ton of different shows. You can watch them right there if you're on YouTube. Check it out right there. We are also on Spotify and wherever you find your fine podcast at. Just, again, go to your favorite podcast catcher and check us out there. That will about do it. Next week, we are talking Darth Bane. Check us out. Until next week, remember, this is not just my Star Wars. This is not just your Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. May the Force be with you.